In this video, we're going to be looking at documentation, ethics and laws associated with databases. We have spent a lot of time understanding how to design and create efficient databases. We know the anomalies we would like to avoid and the types of validation rules we could put in place to maintain a high level of integrity for the data. After all this work, wouldn't it be a shame if the user whom we designed the database for did not know how to either install or use the database, or worse still, use the database in a way that would create faults in the database system? What is needed is an implementation process in which the user feels comfortable using his or her new database. This is why documentation is needed. Documentation falls into two categories: external and internal documentation. External documentation is for the user and is created to help them to use the application. Often for system managers, internal documentation is created to help install and maintain the application. Who creates this documentation can come from several different sources. Let's start with the company or person who made the database. User guides are useful for knowing how to use the various features of the database and become familiar with essential skills such as opening, closing and saving files, creating, inputting and outputting of data, producing table, queries, forms and reports. Other helpful hints can be made available using labels on the form, using hover text when the mouse hovers over the object, using message boxes, status bars showing which record is being displayed, and help menus. The same company will also create internal documentation, stating the minimum hardware requirements to run the database correctly, what conventions should be used for saving tables, queries, forms, and reports, and a troubleshooting guide listing any known problems and solutions. Often community support will produce external documentation in the form of frequently asked questions and tutorial videos which can be accessed online. Finally, information can be created by other professionals in helping to develop the software and help administrators manage and deploy the software. From our studies looking at data warehouse, data marts and data mining, large web companies like Google and Facebook have collected mountains of data which is placed in their data warehouses. The data mining done on this data looks at buying trends in individuals such as you. So on the positive side, they provide the best ads for you. However, as a negative, your data can be bought and sold as one of several disadvantages which we have discussed all the way back in lesson 1. Such data mining activities need to follow both the law and ethics with regard to databases and the data stored in them. Both ethically and legally, companies are obliged to keep information secure, prevent interference and loss of information. As for the disposal of information, you should look at the last part of your hardware booklet, which discusses disposal of hardware and destruction of information. Some examples of how this could be done would be reformatting, demagnetizing, or destruction of hard drives and other storage devices, as well as the destruction by shredding or incinerating of paper reports. The law that governs privacy in Australia is the Privacy Act of 1988. It has 11 privacy principles and is designed to protect people's personal information by ensuring that businesses, government departments and others know how to use and store personal information. A list of some of these principles are on this slide. You do not need to know all 11 principles, but you should learn the ones on this slide and in your database booklet. Principle 1, only collect data and information that is needed. Number 2, you can only use information for what it was collected for. Number 3, data quality has to be accurate and up to date. Number 4, data must be protected against misuse and loss from unauthorized access. Number 5, there are clear company policies how company data is stored. Number 6, the individual has the right to see information on themselves and correct any errors. Number 7, no sensitive information is to be collected without consent, unless it is for good government and for security reasons. Ethics plays a role in how data is collected. People need to give consent for the information that is going to be collected from them, and the data is going to be useful and relevant as well as kept secure. Ethically, the best way to collect the information is by the least inconvenient and easiest method for those whom you are taking information from. Finally, any personal information being asked for should be done in as a sensitive way as possible. Thank you for listening to this video. Goodbye.